Now it's recording.
Julia was just saw on the wall my poster that I was so excited to find. Good Business by Edgar A. Guest. And I was telling her that when I was probably about 3, I memorized it. Donnie, my brother, is 14 months older than I am. And so he and I would go with my dad to the candy and popcorn shop. And my dad would be working all day and we'd be there with him. And he had that on a big poster on his wall. I think it was this big, but everything seems bigger when you're a small kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, we memorized that, so I believed in it and memorized it and said it to myself all these years. I'll repeat it in a minute. But so, and also we had a big long showcase in the front of the shop, and there's a place where you could walk through, and it must have been 2 showcases, and in between them was a little place where you could lift the wooden top up and walk through to the customer area or go back. And so when that was closed, well, at any rate, there was a closed cubby hole where they couldn't see us. So when customers came, Donnie and I would hide in that little cubby hole. But otherwise, we'd be talking to my dad and everything and saying that poem. So he must have taught it to me, because I probably wasn't reading when I was 3 or 4. In fact, I know I wasn't. But anyway, it says, if I possessed a shop or store, I'd drive the grouches off my floor. I'd never keep a boy or clerk with mental toothache at his work, nor let a man who draws my pay drive customers of mine away. I treat the man who takes my time and spends a nickel or a dime with courtesy, and make him feel that I was pleased to close the deal. Because tomorrow, who can tell? He may want stuff I have to sell. And in that case, then glad he'll be to spend his dollars all with me. The reason people pass one door to patronize another store is not because the busier place has better silks or gloves or lace or cheaper prices, but it lies in pleasant words and smiling eyes. The only difference, I believe, is in the treatment folks receive.
And then I said that's why Chick-fil-A has more customers than McDonald's.
Yeah.
Because Chick-fil-A, when you get your food, you say thank you. Their first words are, my pleasure.
Oh, that's
Come
nice.
again.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
McDonald's, all the time you go through the drive-thru and it's like, can I get a burger with extra lettuce, extra pills? We don't do extra stuff here, sorry. You have to pay extra for that. And it's like, okay, thank you. Or the one we all know and love. Yeah, go ahead and pull forward. There's no one behind me. Just do it. And you're like, okay.
Well, back in the day, the customers was always right, and so you treated customers politely, but there was a lot more civility there. Like President Nelson has said, we need to go back to having civility. But anyway, and then I was saying, then we had the great big popcorn poppers that were this big, and they stood up high, so they must have little drawers and storage in the bottom, but in the top they had where you could pop the corn in front of the customers in a little thing about this big, I think.
Kettle.
In a little kettle, yeah, and it would stir it, and then you'd dump it out, and so you'd have all this popcorn. Because at first it was Bob's Popcorn Shop. Later on, my dad did more and more with chocolates, and it was Don Parker's Fine Candies.
Oh, it was called what first?
It was called Bob's because at first, when my dad was going to UCLA, he worked for Bob Schlensker, who had this little, they used to call it a hole-in-the-wall popcorn shop. Somewhere, and he worked for him, and then I think he decided to quit going to UCLA and go in business for himself. He said, you'll never make a living working for somebody else.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But boy, I don't know how he ever made a.
So then he changed to Don's.
Then later on, probably when I was, it might have been when I was 10 or somewhere around there. I don't know. Maybe it was probably before that. We added chocolates to the line, and then we sold a lot of other candies. Sometimes we sold some really nice candies that he got in bulk from someplace else, and so we had a lot of different kinds of candies. And
I didn't know that it used to be called Bob's.
yeah, so at first it was, for a long time, it was Bob's Popcorn Shop.
And you just sold popcorn balls?
No, and popcorn, but then we sold other candies and we sold chocolates, but it was still called Bob's. I think maybe it was when we moved up to Utah. Judy would know all the answers. But I think that's probably, I think when they changed the name to Don Parker's Fine Candies. I kind of think that's when it was, and that's when I was 18.
But so it was called Bob's because he basically bought it off of Bob Schlensker.
Yeah. Actually, so he kept Bob's name. I think, oh, isn't that funny? I'm sure we called it Bob's all the time. Plus, we already had the neon sign and everything.
Yeah.
And then, but there was another guy that he always talked about how he owed money to so and so.
That's stressful.
Yeah, but after he died, Judy paid off all of his bills. Judy was the family hero in a lot of ways.
So
Judy's the oldest, right? Was she the
Yeah, she was the oldest. And that's why she knows all the answers about all this. But now she's gone.
well, so when you had your fine candy shop, did you like work there to make
Yeah.
chocolates and
Oh,
stuff?
yes, we all work. Nowadays, in fact, I said this to somebody at Winco the other day. When I was 4 years old, I made change. We never looked at the cash register to see where it says how much change to give them.
Yeah.
You counted it back. Oh,
Yeah.
that was $1.38. You gave me $5. Okay, 39, 40, 50, 75, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gave them the real change. We counted it back to them.
Yeah. That
It's called
sounds.
reverse engineering.
That's cool. So did you ever?
Nobody
make-
does that now. They're like
No,
they
they
go
don't.
they go out of 20. Here's your change. And they just use
They don't
one.
even know how to do it for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
That's how Bo always taught us, though.
Did he
Like
teach
the,
you?
the cash registers would always give you $1.75 change or whatever it was, and we'd count it up. But Bo would never do that. He said, "You give me 20. It was $17, 17.37, 38, 9.40." Would count up.
Oh, really? He
and,
did?
And then that's how he would count change.
Did he make you guys do it?
No, but he
Oh.
didn't make us do it that way. But that's how he
Yeah,
did
he
it.
did. But that's
And
what
then there
he
was
did.
times when the register would freeze where I was like, so "You guys are so dumb." Like you started their price and you count up to what they gave you. It's not that
Right.
hard.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
What are
but
you doing?
people, you had to
It's
know how to
37,
count
38,
money.
39, 40. Then you go to the dimes. Then you go to whatever. And they go.
You start at the pennies and you work your way up till to their number.
Nickels.
Yeah.
But in those days, also change was worth more than it is now. Nowadays, when I get change, I usually, or not too much, I don't always check that I got the right change. We always check
You just assume
that the
yeah.
coins were correct.
Yeah.
But coins bought more
Yeah.
those days than they do
That's what it
now.
says in that thing. You spend a nickel or a dime because that was a 5 and dime shop where you could
Yeah.
get a whole package of
Chocolates for
chocolates
like
for
a quarter.
5 cents.
Oh.
You're
Yeah.
talking-
We used to get pasteboard boxes, they called it, but it's a cardboard box. And I think they were this big. And so they're probably 25-pound boxes, I'm thinking, of M&Ms and M&M peanuts. And
25-pound box of M&Ms.
and I wish we could taste them now because they were not the same thing as what we eat now.
Yeah.
Oh, they were really tasty. Nowadays, if you pay attention, they have very little flavor.
Yep.
It's like last night after
I
the
don't know. I think it's all to do with our aged taste buds.
I was just about to say
no,
that.
they don't. The
What if
chocolate
our age
doesn't.
taste buds change?
The chocolate doesn't have the flavor like a Snickers bar. There's so much wax and stuff in it. It doesn't
Careful.
have the chocolate flavor. Did I mess that up?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
When last night after the state conference, Saturday night dinner, they had brownies and a donut, and they had chocolate milk and milk, and I thought, I know that chocolate milk isn't going to be any good, but I think I'll try it anyway. And I drank, a couple ounces of that. Nope, it has no flavor. But I know a place that does. That's
Huh?
Reed's. Reed's has real good
Yep,
chocolate
yep.
milk. It's the only place that
Their
chocolate.
ice cream's delicious.
Oh yeah,
Their
their
ice cream.
eggnog.
We went to Reed's Dairy to the dairy because they're over in eastern Idaho
And on our way up to Yellowstone, we
Yeah.
stopped
They're
there.
stopped at
across
their-
the street from the Meridian
yeah
Temple.
that's just a location.
That's a
We went to the
location.
dairy.
Oh.
We went to like the dairy.
Where like
And
where
they
where
had
they originated from.
Baby pigs, and I was so happy.
She was on cuteness overload. It was adorable. They had these
Where
little.
is it?
It's
Pigs this
in
big.
Pocatello,
Oh,
not
really?
Pocatello.
I don't
In
know.
where's BYU Idaho? What's
Rexburg.
It's in Rexburg.
Oh, cool.
It's in Rexburg,
Yeah.
and and that's where they started. It's their original location. And they're open till 11 o'clock at night, and it's about the only thing that is.
We used to,
And we went there in the evening, or 10 o'clock or something. But they had their farm or their dairy and the dairy barns out front of the store.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Well, that's how we
mom and
did.
pop
We
type
lived,
deal.
yeah, we lived behind the candy store.
Yeah, got an ice cream and yeah.
And
I
then I
agree,
remember
they're very
sometimes Jenny, we would sneak some candy, but I think that kids today can't imagine probably what we snuck was so little compared to the amount of candy that kids eat nowadays. I know it was, except he'd make caramel corn and he'd have it all out on the tray cooling. And every time I walked by, I'd take a little piece until I got that sugar overload, but it tasted so good. But other than that, we didn't eat a lot of. I really don't think we did. Once in a while, Jenny and I would go, because we also sold ice cream. So once in a while, we'd get a napkin and we'd go get one scoop of ice cream
In a napkin?
on a napkin, just
In a
one scoop,
napkin.
and just eat it, I guess, before it melted. But
Why not get it in a cone? To me, the cone's better than the ice cream.
I know. I don't know, and probably the ice cream was a lot better in those days too.
Yeah, it probably was.
But and to this day, one scoop of ice cream is all I need.
Yeah.
Some,
Is it
and,
still
but then,
recording?
Yeah.
but we got novelty. So we go to Paramount. I remember going to the dock place at Paramount Ice Cream Company, whatever it was called, and we'd get boxes of ice cream novelties to take out on the trucks.
Like ice cream sandwiches and
Yeah, ice
popsicles
cream
and-
sandwiches and we get long johns were the long sherbet round ones, and they came in a couple colors, and they were very good.
Oh, I bet.
Or they had sidewalk sundaes. Just I don't think you can get them like that.
Nope.
I think they were that long on a stick, and like I say, when your little things are different, but still, and we sold them for 15 cents,
Buy a case
And-
of those.
and they had chocolate in the
This is
middle.
from the ice cream truck. That's the retail price, 15 cents.
Yeah. that's
So what did they
pretty
cost
good.
from the dock place where you went?
I
What's it
don't
called,
know.
Peterson's?
Paramount.
Paramount. So you go to Paramount Ice Cream Company and you
pick-
you buy them. They
Buy a
must
box
have been
that doesn't
so
have it.
cheap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, from the
your
ice
box
cream-
was probably $1
And
for
we
12
get
or
drumsticks,
something.
and they're individually wrapped, and it seems like they're probably a little bit bigger than the ones you can buy now.
Yeah, stuff like that's $3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
the
so good.
ice cream trucks that go around nowadays at like the park, they've got for a little dreamsicle bar, they're like $3 for one of those.
Oh my goodness, the dreamsicle, they're creamsicle. I think
Yeah.
they're probably or fudge bars. I think they're probably 15 cents, or they might have been less because the sidewalk Sunday was bigger. But I know we sold a bottle of pop for 15 cents.
It was
Those
a
are
12-ounce
probably,
bottle, a glass bottle.
12 ounce, yeah.
And you got a what
How about
a
this?
redemption on it.
Yeah, you turn in the glass bottles, and I don't remember it was 5 cents or
So the soda cost you 10 cents.
yeah. So, and the quality was so much better. It's just like we used to be able to. You'd buy if you got a crate of oranges, it was a wooden crate, and the kids always made like go karts with the crate,
Yeah.
and that was so much fun. But now everything's in plastic because that's so much cheaper.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things have changed so much, and that's just like yesterday to me. But of course, 60 years ago really means something. A lot has happened in 60
It's
years.
crazy though, is that it can change that much in just 60 years.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
I don't ever remember there anything really coming in wooden crates when I was a child.
When we were married, I got a lug of beets. The first batch of pickled beets I made with my grandmother's recipe, the best batch I ever made. I was so careful doing it, and that lug of beets came in a little wooden box. I think.
A lug of beets.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Wow.
It seems like
Probably
those are
can't
happy
remember mine.
memories. Hopefully, as you guys look back into your childhood, you got happy memories.
I remember climbing up in the apricot tree and eating apricots till I was sick.
Well, that's what I did too, because we had an apricot tree in our backyard. We had a backyard and then a little white fence in the very
I
backyard.
climbed way up in that tree because that was a big tree. It was it was at least 30 or 40 feet up.
Oh man.
And when we built the tree house in it and all
Yeah.
that, I'd climb up to the top branches of that tree and So they need the apricots at the top of that tree.
That's what I
I think
did.
that's why I don't like apricots.
Oh, I do like them still.
I like them, but I can only eat them so much.
Probably why I don't like apples either, because I ate too many as a kid. But
Yeah, same. I was
actually, what I don't like about apples is when the skin gets stuck in your teeth.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's why Lizzie doesn't like coconut. I think that's why she doesn't like nuts. She doesn't like that stuck in her teeth. But
Oh, that's interesting.
I like it.